Hi, my name is Lavette Lavoy. I'm going to be talking about process of emotion in the workplace for my organizational communication class. So the question is, you recently came to the conclusion that you are suffering from burnt out. Describe three symptoms that might have led to this diagnosis and prescribe two strategies you might use to cope with your situation. um, Discuss three specific stressors that influence you in your role as an employee, and choose one of these stressors and describe how you cope with these stressors using appraisal focused coping, problem focused coping, and emotional focused coping, as described in the book, pages 210 to 213. So stress can affect our lives in many ways. Stress can affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically. It is important to know and manage stress because it can lead to serious health issues. I realized that the hard way. I realized I was burnt out when I was at the emergency room. Due to a muscle spasm that had pinched one of my nerves in my neck, very right behind um, the end of my head. Um, at age 43, I was discussing already treatment options with my physician because my blood pressure was completely out of control, out of nowhere, with no history of hypertension and living a healthy lifestyle. There were substantial challenges in my former workplace. The biggest challenge was the organizational structure. The organization did not offer a fair compensation for the skills and education required to perform efficiently the positions. Therefore, vacancies were filled with non-skilled, uneducated staff that were expected to perform duties that they were not qualified or equipped for. It was very hard for the team members to understand methods to solve problems, and the turnover was extreme in a essential residential facility, where employees were essential because it had to be run 24/7. There were substantial challenges, multiple challenges. The culture of rewarding the overstepping of boundaries turned teams members against each other to the point that two people that rely in their communication to run a shift were not communicating at all. I witnessed how clients were taking advantage of this communication and mistrust issues between the staff. I shared my observations during meetings of the excessive conflict and the inability of teams to work together to no avail. A display of lack of motivation was constantly exhibited by employees showing up to work late, not following through with their task, and not filling out respective reports. I experienced resistance and lack of validation when I share my observations, even though I was asked for during team meetings and meetings with the program director, due to the fact that the program director of this organization did not see the problem. I experienced how frustrating it was to work under leadership that will sacrifice anything to prove that they are right, even when they might be wrong. Employees fail or felt safe feel safe to share their ideas and are able to contribute their best when they feel that they are valued. There's no wrong or right perspective, just different perspectives. I experienced resistance and lack of validation multiple times when I was sharing my observations. uh, Ideas for improvement were rejected, and in return, um, I was placed into a micromanagement campaign against me and my work. The practice of demoralizing or discrediting or discounting anything that I said was the focus of supervision. Um, so I did not think The program director's behavior represented the values of the organization as a whole, but only of the one administrator of one program. So I brought the issues of our human resources office with the evidence, and it was silenced at the first time. I brought the issue second time, and it was heard as a new CEO was hired by the time a call upon the issues the second time. So after my concerns were brought up a second time, and I'm sure of many others, a comprehensive assessment targeting the organization's demographics and people processes to develop specific strategies to promote inclusiveness was conducted. It was a very toxic war environment. I left. However, I managed to remain calm and collected when under stress to meet the required deadlines of the work and the toxicity of the environment until I was able to find a new job. An example of the strategies that I utilize to manage the challenges around me. I set goals and I was very clear about my priorities. I decided what can wait and what must get done and when. I had no problem saying no to any task that could put me into overload. I created a realistic to-do list for every day to remain focused on what had to be done. I decompress with a variety of relaxing activities, and I make sure to get my physical and mental exercises to keep my physical body and my mental health as well. It was difficult, it was challenging, um, and the commitment that I had with the organization, and not only with the organization, but with the population that we served, um, brought me to highest levels of stress that I have to determine to move forward to take care of myself.